Hey, what's going on, everybody? Thank you for sticking with us into the nightcap of week two, no, day two, yeah, of week two, day two of the Black Twitch League. We have Team No Name versus Maria's Dungeon as the final series for the night. Appreciate seeing you all after that short break. Ito, what's going on, man? I hope the
Hey,
first
what's up?
games
What's up?
were pretty lit. I wasn't around for them.
Yeah, they were,
Tell me a
especially
little bit
that.
about them.
I think that second game was like ridiculously lit in terms of just a really fun game to watch. Lots and lots of fighting. Ended up being a 2-0 for the newcomer, for the newcoming team. I believe that was Team Academy came in, but they were new. They took on an 0-1 record, taking the spot of, I believe they took the spot of Blonde Toads. Yeah, they took the spot of Blonde Toads, which unfortunately they had to drop the league. So Academy came in and they had a dominating 2-0 performance. But that second game was just like, I was just tuning in and just tons and tons of fighting. Very entertaining game to watch. So it was unfortunate to that it ended up. It looked like a bit more one-sided, I think, than it actually was. But I think Glacial Global did their best. I know they had some roster troubles given the timing of the game. It was a little bit early for most of their team members, but it was still a very entertaining series. So here we are with Team No Name versus Maria's Dungeon, and they've already put out this first six bands really fast. And I was mentioning how Team No Name is coming in as well, replacing Team Aegis from last week, another team that dropped. And they have been doing their homework all week. I saw that they were watching the VODs from the first weekend earlier this week, and they spent like the past hour or so in their team chat doing their homework on Maria's Dungeon. So I think these bands here are really good snipes. The Fishing Frenzy is known as a Jax one trick. They banned his Jax. Even if he doesn't have ranked history, you can look at his account and see that he definitely plays a lot of Jax. They banned Maria's Yumi. Maria is definitely known as a very good Yumi player. And they also banned Tom Kench, which has been just such a power pick recently.
Yeah, and speaking of new teams and everything, Maria's Dungeon coming in with a completely new battery of a team here. XPO and Soul Lady are the only two leftovers from their week one matchup. They've got three new members as well: Fishing Frenzy, Azriel, and Azam on the
Mhm.
roster. I know two of them were listed as subs, but still fresh, still getting in, and we'll have to see what's going to happen. It's essentially two brand new teams together. The only synergy you have is between XPO and Soul Lady, and I mean that could result in some like pretty interesting rooms and stuff like that. So taking a look at the picks here. Team No Name went with the first pick, Lulu. Maria's Dungeon, their first pick is a Mumu. It's not shown on the screen, but it is indeed a Mumu. So they went a Mumu Kaisa. Team No Name followed up with a Philios Jarvan, and Maria's Dungeon is going with Fiddlesticks as we head into the second ban phase. So far, Lulu, Aphelios, Jarvan, that looks like a pretty potent team. They're going to be able to keep Aphelios relatively safe. Jarvan's pretty solid if you have to peel, but obviously he's going to want to go in. And Lulu's going to be able to protect up that Aphelios. It's going to be pretty strong. We're going to have to see what Maria's Dungeon's able to do. I believe, did they play Fiddlesticks last week, or was that another game that I was a part of?
I'm trying to think who exactly played Fiddlesticks. I know Fiddlesticks was played last week. I would have to go through our through our VODs or through the screenshots. I don't remember exactly who played Fiddlesticks, but I could probably bring that up. But yeah, Fiddlesticks is a very interesting champion to see, especially into the J4. I was also thinking, man, I'm so interested in seeing Aphelios just because I have not seen it. That champion has been like not at all seen recently. I haven't seen him in quite a long time. He's not commonly picked in BTL. Like all of last season, I can't remember. Like I remember like maybe a few seasons ago, maybe like a year ago, maybe a year and a half ago, we saw some Aphelios, but I haven't seen Aphelios in a very long time. But it's nice to see the 200-year champion here back on the Rift.
Yeah, I mean, Aphelios is his presence in terms of being picked and banned even at the pro level is not that high. It's starting to raise up a little bit. I was at a LAN yesterday. I was at the Harrisburg University LAN yesterday, and I saw a couple of Aphelios is picked amongst those
Oh, okay.
high level collegiate teams. So we will have to see if Team Moname is going to be able to execute it properly. Second half of bans, Maria's Dungeon opted for a Silas set ban. Meanwhile, Team No Name they went with Shen Vagar, so those look a little bit more targeted toward the side of Maria's dungeon. And the first pick of the second phase, they go with a Wukong, and that really just seems to go with their composition right now. They have the Amumu, they have the Fiddlesticks, they have the Wukong. This
Fight,
is a team
baby.
that wants to fight, get the Wombo combo off, get some kills, win the game.
I always appreciate, since we are not at the professional level, since this is like amateur esports, I always appreciate. I've preached this a million times throughout BTL for the past few years. I enjoy ease of execution. I think ease of execution team fights just naturally wins you games at this elo. Like especially if you have mixed elo, people that are different things, you see people that just need to do their role. If you can just get into initiate a team fight, have an easy press R button, I think that's just much easier to execute. And I think that it's just you're just less likely to mess that up. And I think that can really help a team win a game. Whenever I see that a team fight, like, oh, this team fight can work if so and so does this and so does this and so does gets disengaged and hits that CC. But whenever it's just like big circular fights, big circular ultimates, I always feel like that team is just destined to win because it's just so much easier to pull off. So I love to
I
see
don't
it.
I don't necessarily I don't think you're giving these teams enough credit. You know,
Well, yeah, I mean,
we hopped into the lobby. I see the ranks of these players. You know, they're
that's
no
true.
scrubs. You know,
That's fair.
we got some plat players. You know, some quasi diamond players. You know, they're so close to getting up there. So these are players that can certainly perform. But you know,
Wait,
of course, ease of execute. Wait,
wait,
oh, whoa.
wait. Yone. Okay, so I know who this is going to, right? Because I happen to know. You mentioned Maria and Expo. Maria and Expo have been playing a BTL since season two BTL. That's back in 2017. They've been here for 4 years, so we know. Like, we just kind of know. Expo has been known as lauded as one of the best BTL, probably over the course of his longevity, probably one of the best BTL players in history, just because he's always just shown tons of mechanical skill and has probably the most clips over our seasoned history. And let me tell you, he is a very interesting player to watch. And it would have been he's demolished teams on Yone, so I was like, oh, he's about to pull out the Yone. But also, he used to play. There was a season where he played ADC, and whenever he played ADC, that entire team's entire point was to just keep him alive and funnel resources into him. And his first game was on Vayne. I think he went like 17-1 and like completely blew out the game. It was insane. So I love to see Expo potentially playing Vayne mid. I would not say Esso into a Galio. That makes a lot of sense. I think didn't who was it? Someone in Europe played Vayne mid. Who was it? Was it Caps? Was it Caps? I think Caps
I
played
believe
Vayne
it
mid.
was Caps. I
Yeah, I
believe
think Caps
Caps
played Vayne mid.
played the game.
I think into the same matchup actually. I think it was into a Galio, if I remember correctly. So this Vayne mid, and he popped off. They ended up winning that game. So hey, I mean,
That was a while ago, man. That was
yeah,
a long time ago.
I
It
know.
wasn't.
But
I'm very impressed with your memory. It was into the same matchup. That's an impressive memory. Not gonna lie. And he went 5-2-6 in that game. He had a very solid game.
mhm,
The rest of his team also did pretty well. Broxa like popped off that game, but yeah, the Vayne mid is going to be a very interesting pick to see here. I don't necessarily know if I like it. I think Yone fit into their team composition quite a bit more.
that's
Obviously, a Vayne having a range champion into a melee is always a plus. You know, Galio with his inherent magic shields, magic resistance, and whatnot. You know, it would have affected Yone a little bit. Little known fact for some people that Yone's passive it splits his third attack between magic and physical damage. You know, so he does have a little bit of magic damage on him. Obviously, not enough that it's like, oh no, it's a huge counter pick, but it's something to
yeah.
be aware of. Whereas Vayne obviously won't have that problem at all. Now,
Mm,
I want to talk a little bit about Team No Name. I really like the composition that they drafted here, into this Wombo combo composition.
yes,
Now,
that's
the
true.
thing is, I think that Team No Name, even though they don't have these crazy team fight ultimates that synergize so well, like the side of Maria's dungeon, I feel like they have to be the ones making the engagements because it's not really a disengaging team. You know, Volibear can use his ultimate and get out. Obviously, can run away. Galio can kind of justice punch out of there, but I don't necessarily think that's what you want to be doing. I think you want to be starting the fight here, causing a lot of chaos and discord amongst the side of Maria's dungeon, and not let them layer those ultimates so well. And you know, Galio, Jarvan, and Volibear are at their best when they are going in and they are going at the enemy and they are engaging, and that can
Mhm,
allow so much time for Philios to just sit back there and fire away and get those, you know, get those guns off, or you know, the red white guns if he's in the middle of the fight and has to, you know, pump out a bunch of damage. You know, those chakrams can deal so much. So
very
I
true.
feel like, yeah, I feel like it feels kind of weird saying that yes, the team that doesn't have the Wombo combo ultimates must be making the engages, but they have so much ability to disrupt this fiddlesticks before they get an ultimate off, and that's really what they need to do. I think that's the key to the game.
Yeah, I think that makes sense. But if you're in a situation where if you get engaged on, you just lose, then you just simply like you just can't let it happen. So in order to stop that from happening, is to you be the one to pull the trigger first yourself. So it does make a lot of sense. I will say, I just now noticed that this is a Mumu support and this is Maria playing Mumu support, and I am particularly excited about this because if anyone that knows Maria has been watching the BTO for a while, Maria does not play tank supports. Like if you look at Maria's like match history or look at her stats, you see her most played champion is Lulu, then Yumi, then Soraka, then Sona, then Nami, then Karma, then Lux, then Seraphine, then Janna, then Senna, then Zyra, and then you get run into your first tank. And even last year you see Soraka, then Lulu, then Yumi, then Senna, yeah. So this is kind of but I see that she's been practicing it in some normals. Maybe this has been some type of tech that Maria Dunn has been working on. But yeah, definitely trying to go in on the tank supports our meta and play into this Amumu meta support. So very interesting to see Maria playing this Amumu in particular. I'm definitely looking forward to see how she's able to pilot that. She's always been a very good support for the BTL. So
Yeah, and
that's that.
Amumu in the support role has been so strong after the recent buffs, and now his
Right.
Q has 2 charges on it. And it seems like this champion is starting to slowly creep its way in to the support role. And when you take a look at the rest of the kit, you have a long range CC in terms of your Q for pick potential, and then you've got the Curse of the Sad Mummy as the ultimate to lock everybody down. It really fits the hallmarks of what you want. There are a couple of problems though, right? So your engagements are a little bit of an issue because you're going to go all the way in. You're going to leave your AD carry behind a little bit, so that's going to be a couple seconds of damage that are not getting off. And meanwhile, your retaliation abilities aren't exactly that strong. And the biggest problem here is this Aphelios is pretty much going to be able to farm without an issue. I don't foresee Vayne Fiddlesticks being able to effectively roam down against an Aphelios Lulu and make plays happen. Obviously until like post six, like then Amumu can go and get the Curse of the Sad Mummy. But pre six, it's going to be a problem, and Aphelios is just going to be able to sit back and have a good time, especially with this Lulu. Obviously, unless something unforeseen happens, that's traditionally how I feel the lane should probably play out. That doesn't necessarily mean that it's going to, though, based on gameplay. Obviously, they have to play the games.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. And we will not know until we get to see these two teams on the Rift. So we have a little bit of a spectator delay, and then we will return to you guys shortly because we always get so interested in talking about these team comps that the spectator delay usually gets taken up. So we'll be back very shortly, like literally in 20 seconds.
Maybe a little bit longer. Hey, welcome back, everybody. Thanks for sticking with us through that short break. We're here for it. We got Team No Name on the blue side, Maria's Dungeon on the red side for this one. Different lineups for the side of Maria's Dungeon, as we mentioned earlier. Fishing Frenzy,
Oh my
Ez-
god.
Ezreal, and Azam, the new ones. And Fishing Frenzy could be in trouble. They pinged him out though. He is he is dipping. He is in dipset mode right now. Taking Jarvan taking control of the damage charts.
True.
Looks like they are going to get their fair share of wards down on the top side, and it looks like they're just going to dip out, and that's it. And that's gonna they're definitely going to be able to spot out where Amumu may show up to if he's able to clear it fast enough. I know those wards don't last nearly as long; they're only a minute and a half compared to 3 minutes at this point in the game. And Amumu, not Amumu, I'm sorry, Fiddlesticks. Too many junglers in the game now. Um, Fiddlesticks not exactly known for a speed clear, so it shouldn't be all too bad. Well, on the other side, there's a pretty slick ward down near chickens, on the side of Maria's dungeon. They put that ward down near that red buff. That's a
Oh
crafty
wow.
ward right there. Yeah, they're definitely going to be able to spot out that Jarvan as he heads down, especially since that ward seemed to be a little bit later than the others. But here we go, and you know what? I feel
Vision on
like
both sides, huh?
yeah, I feel like it's going to be pretty standard for Fiddlesticks. You're just going to chill out and farm up to level 6. So if you are the side of Maria's Dungeon, you need to be careful about potential ganks from this Jarvan. As those lanes can engage on you. There's CC in every lane, save for the bottom lane. But even then, with Gravitum, Aphelios can land a pretty nice snare on somebody as Jarvan's coming in, and you're good to go. From there, Glory and Death, and they're trading back and forth.
Uh, I see Mumu with Relic Shield and Help Us. Oh wait, does Kaisa have items? Wait, what about Fiddlesticks? What about Bear? I don't see Fiddlesticks with anything.
Uh,
Wait, but the stream does. Wait, but the stream sees. Okay. Oh,
Fishing
top lane.
Frenzy getting very low. Glory and Death. Yep, he's just gonna hold him to death. It is first blood going over to the Volibear on the top side. And as you can see from the goal totals, there's definitely a spectator book here. There's a pretty sick condemn out of the vein, keeping themselves alive against the Jarvan. So, great. Never really thought that was going to be the counter gank tech as Glory and Death gets teleported on and taken down from this Wukong. All right, Wukong, I see you out here. It's a pretty aggressive teleport to just want to go back in, but I think Glory and Death kind of overstayed their welcome a little bit as John Yim is just out here going for it. The Elo police is going to take down Expo, and like a thief in the night, Jarvan's going to flash out, not get killed, and that's a pretty successful gank from the Jarvan after spending quite a bit of time in the mid lane. Good investment. It's going to pay off. Fiddlesticks showing up into the mid lane. All right, we know the Fiddlesticks is alive. All right, Soul Lady landing that bandage toss onto TNN support. TNN support's about half HP, but the Gravitum does land. The heal is going to have to be burnt. There goes the exhaust. Azam still has the flash out, and they will flash. Meanwhile, TNN support had gotten ignited down to about 100 HP, but is A-okay, forcing the summoners out of the bot lane. Exhaust burnt for ignite, heal, and flash on the side of Maria's Dungeon, and Glory and Death is just running the lane on Fishing Frenzy right now. Their second solo kill, and if you are Fishing Frenzy, this is not the start that you envisioned.
It definitely is not. He was able to get that teleport kill whenever he got back, but then and then things are going poorly again. I I can't stop laughing at this spectator, but I can't believe this has happened so many times in a row now. I'm trying to see if I could reconnect to try and fix it, but it's so sad.
See, I don't have the issue with it on my end, but
Yeah,
I know,
at first
I
I
know
thought
the
I
stream
didn't,
has it.
and then I realized, oh wait, yeah, there's some items I can't see.
Theoretically speaking, we could always pause the stream and try to reconnect.
I think I would like to try that this time actually. Let's find a good spot. Can we pause at like 5:30 or
We'll just
something?
pause right. Oh, we'll just pause right now. We'll get back to it.
That's true. That's true. Yeah, 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 yeah. Can we pause it and try and reconnect this? Because this is
Yeah,
yeah.
you can
It's
just
like
disconnect and
yeah, yeah.
reconnect.
Exit the game and reconnect to the game.
Mm-hmm.
It'll be a quick break here on the side of the stream as we attempt to fix the hilariousness that you're watching.
Yeah, the spectator bug just, it happens sometimes.
Yeah.
Sometimes you just gotta deal with it. But you know, early on, you take a look at these two teams right now. Team No Name looks like they're ready to just run it down on Maria's dungeon. Glory and Death is 2-1 right now. He's got a Sheen. He's looks like he's working on a Fade. He opened the Doran's Ring, which is a very popular open for a Volibear in the top lane. You get the extra damage on the E and
Right.
even a bigger shield, so it's really excellent for trading. In the mid lane, I would never have expected Elo Police to not only be up a kill, but is only down 3 CS.
Yeah, I would not at all expect that. I think that something definitely has to do with John Yin coming through and getting that. Oh my God! Can
John
you give
Yim
us
did everything.
a timestamp? Okay, let me go there.
It looks like we may have repaired the spectator bug, which is great. I learned this trick over the weekend at the Harrisburg University Esports LAN that I went to.
Did they
They
have the
just
same problem?
multiple times,
Fantastic.
multiple times, and it is a damn shame how that happened. Oh my God, Glory and Death is just running down this Wukong in the top lane.
I'm paused at
Didn't
6 minutes if you guys are if we can get to 6 minutes pause.
Yeah, luckily we didn't really miss it. We didn't really miss anything. That's the good news. The even better news is that we could see something spicy happening in the top lane around the 6 minute mark, which is going to be great for everybody watching. It's absolutely great. You didn't miss any action or anything like that. Alrighty, I think we are back into it. Yes, we are. We're here. Azrael chilling out is level 6 now. Glory and Death about half HP. Fishing Frenzy does have their ultimate. I think they might just win the fight on their own here. I don't even think they need Azrael here. Glory and
Oh,
Death trying to turn it around. Azrael burning the flash as well is going to force the ultimate out of the Volibear, but here comes the turnaround teleport from the Elo Police. Elo Police Justice Punch. Taunt landed, but it looks like Wukong is going to find his way out of here. And John Yim in the top lane as well, trying to maybe make a play happen. Nothing doing there. So a lot burnt on the side of Maria's dungeon. And they didn't get anything for it. That's a flash on a Fiddlesticks down, which is pretty important. The Elo Police, yeah, they burned their teleport, but their ultimate is going to make it pretty easy to, move around the map. That hero's entrance.
I almost forget that's a thing.
Well, the good news is we don't have a dragon timer, but that's because the dragon is currently up. Unfortunately, it doesn't look like we're gonna have that dragon timer. It does kind of glitch out. It's either going to come up and not show the dragon and not show what dragon it is. We'll just make a considered effort to let everybody know what dragon it is. Like, currently, as you can see on the mini map, it is the Mountain Drake. We are a-okay there. Like, it's totally fine. Everybody pretty much just chilling out here. This Affilio's down about 10 CS, which actually very much surprises me. But, I mean, there hasn't been too much pressure created by the bot lane of Maria's dungeon, but they've been doing a pretty good job in getting their small advantages here. It's 3 longswords to a pickaxe. So, I mean, listen, I just carry a bunch of swords in my inventory. Apparently, there's a really spicy Kaisa build that might be making the rounds soon. It's a little bit more AP focused.
Really?
But it doesn't look like that's going to be the go here. Those aren't magic damage items. I played League for quite some time. There have been a lot of changes throughout the years, and one of those, there are no changes in terms of pickaxe and longsword.
Yeah, very true. Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm looking for Expo to try and make his best advantage in this. Like, if he can stay in this lane for solo long enough,
Uh-oh.
more of an advantage.
The hero's entrance as well. Azrael's going to get interrupted on the drain and taunted up immediately. Can Expo get there in time? Flash is burnt from that Fiddlesticks. I swear that Fiddlesticks just burned Flash up in that top engagement. Am I incorrect?
I don't think he did. I think he just ulted.
Okay, it looked like it was on a cooldown. Maybe I'm just tripping. I don't know. All right. Well,
But
Fiddlesticks
that's
burns the
fine.
flash for sure there.
Yeah, for sure.
As it looks like the side of Team No Name is going to be able to pick up this Drake. Expo, as you can see, maxing those silver bolts, the damage is getting hot and heavy. And especially against this kind of team where where you see a Volibear on the other side, you see a Galio on the other side. This Jarvan has two ruby crystals, so it looks like they're going tanky. You know, those silver bolts are going to deal tons of damage.
Yeah, I actually kind of like this like R5 like random adjustment to the Vayne. I think it's like they looked at the team composition. You know what? It's similar to, and here's why I remember that Caps played Vayne mid so much, because it was similar to the, because there was like a YouTube video like about like they thought he was trolling and then he did this. But like I think you can make Vayne mid work. And it was like this exact same situation where he's like, wait,
Uh-oh.
look at team comp.
Uh-oh,
Vayne mid's
Expo.
so good here. Oh my god.
Expo popping off. Final hour has been triggered. Flash.
Oh my god,
takeoff,
Expo! Oh, he almost did it to him. Oh, he almost did it to him. Oh, if that hit the wall, imagine.
Azrael up in the top lane with the Crow Storm, killing Glory in death. Pretty interesting trades there. Overall, a 2-for-1 in favor of Maria's Dungeon as they look like they finally show some signs of life.
Oh, I wanted to see that Expo play so bad. That was so.
Oh
That was
my
almost
God, the
clean.
condemn was a hair off.
The condemn flash. That was almost so clean. Expo deserved to have that outplay, but he still survives the gank with getting a kill and almost killed the other.
He did burn
really
flash for that one, so that
Yeah.
is a little rough. They
Yeah.
opted not to use the cleanse. I believe they did get taunted for a hot second, but didn't use the cleanse. Which I mean, when you're taunted in that scenario, you're still focusing the Galio anyway. The
Right.
only difference is that you can't control your movement, and maybe that would have made a difference there. Not quite sure, but opt to save it for potentially a better engagement, especially now that you don't have your flash down. Having both down would be pretty rough for the next fight, but now at least you have some sort of safety net. I want to give a lot of credit to Azrael here. Azrael is up about 30 CS on John Yim and was up 2 levels at one point, so call it a level and a half right now. And has completed their mythic, and that's the earliest mythic out of everybody in the game. They went with the Leandri's Anguish, and I mean, this jungler is just, they're power farming on fiddlesticks. It appears that they know what they're doing, and here we go, an engagement on to this Vayne. You have no shot. This is a 3v1 trying to chew down the health bars of John Yim, but when you got to knock up a taunt and a polymorph, there's no use in using the cleanse there.
Yeah.
Absolutely ganged on, and there's a death timer for your mistakes. Uh-oh. Glory and Death. Another good engagement onto Fishing Frenzy. Fishing Frenzy. No shot. Absolutely no shot.
Yeah, for sure.
Wukong burns flash and goes down without a whimper. John Yim over the wall on top of this Amumu. Amumu looking for the re-engage. I'm not sure if that's what you wanted there. May have been a little bit better that the bandage toss did not land. And right now it looks like Maria's Dungeon is continuing to fall further behind. They had a pulse, but it looks like Team No Name is looking to extinguish any potential comeback.
Yeah, that's. I'm gonna see him teleport back to this tower. Is he gonna get a fight? Is he gonna fight? Oh no, I don't think you. Oh no! Oh no, he just got back. He just got back. Look at his health bar. He just got back. He just got there. Oh no, he's down 40. This is not looking good for Fishing Frenzy in the top lane at all.
No, I mean, Fishing Frenzy 2 levels down as well. It's just continuing to look worse and worse for them up in that top lane. Volibear outpacing them pretty hard, almost a 40 CS lead. Oh, we see Azrael sandbagging here. John Yim is coming through as well. But it looks like John Yim opted to go into the jungle as opposed to going for a fight, perhaps smelling and sniffing out the potential bait attempt there. They'll like to walk away and say, you know what, Expo, you can take the farm.
He's just playing.
Uh-oh, they're going to try to make that play again. Here comes John Yim. Here, Expo walking over. The taunt! The taunt
Oh
landed!
my god!
Azrael got interrupted!
The taunt
No
interrupted the
shot! It's
ultimate.
the knockup!
Oh
Elo
my
Police
god.
is gonna go down to Azrael. It's gonna be a 1-for-1 overall. Here comes the Amumu. Can you get the Curse of the Sad Mummy off? There's the Cataclysm. The heal from the Fiddlesticks is just
Oh
a
my
little
god.
bit too much, and now the Flash burnt from this Lulu. Pretty good re-engagement there from the side of Maria's Dungeon as the roam up to the mid lane pays off in spades. It's a 2-for-1 overall for the side of Maria's Dungeon. They're gonna get this Rift Herald down, and they're gonna get a lot of play gold.
Okay, the rotation's over from Maria's Dungeon, able to turn Expo's one death into 2 kills and lots of tower plates and potentially mid lane tower. Well done on Maria's Dungeon to really turn that around. Because at first that taunt interrupting the Fiddlesticks,
It's
I'm like,
huge.
oh no, oh no. I was like, oh, it's over. I thought it was over Maria's Dungeon. I thought that was just too good from the EIO police, but yeah, they were able to turn that
You
around.
call him the EIO police. Oh
Yeah.
my god.
Just so you know, I'm just letting everyone in the league know right now how to spell that name in case you go to op.gg and you find a silver player and like, wow, I didn't know their mid laner is
Uh-oh.
silver. He's not. He's plat.
Uh-oh. Their top laner looks like they might be silver.
Oh my
As Fishing
god.
Frenzy.
Oh
It's 1v1
no.
once again.
Frenzy.
Dragon going over to the side of Maria's Dungeon, and after, constant battling back and forth, one dragon apiece from both sides. Maria's Dungeon down early, but now up about 300 gold from that huge mid lane play. And we're pretty much deadlocked here at 15 minutes, as now the goal's exactly tied. Glory and Death is absolutely running down this Wukong right now, though. A 50 CS lead, 4 kills. This Volibear is going to be very scary.
So if the gold is tied and the Volibear is up 2600 on his laner, then that means Maria's Dungeon must have a massive lead somewhere. And they have a bit of a lead. They have like 500 gold lead mid lane, like a 500 gold lead on the ADC. They have a 500 gold lead. I guess so. It's between the mid and bot and the jungle. Jungle has a 900 gold lead, so I guess they're making up for Fishing Frenzy, just getting absolutely demolished up there in the top lane to maintain this relatively even game so far in terms of gold.
Right. The problem is, though, the Volibear has about 1,000 more gold than your highest
Yeah.
gold earner in Expo. Or
Yeah.
no, I'm sorry, in Azrael. Azrael's got about 6K. Volibear is bordering on 7K right now. And that's really going to be where the gap lies. If you see these 2v2, these 3v3 engagements, these not huge team fights where you're not getting this Fiddlesticks ultimate, this Wukong ultimate, this Amumu ultimate off, you're going to see that gold really shine in those engagements. That's going to be the difference right there. So Maria's Dungeon does have to be very careful.
Very true. Yeah, it's gonna be very, very, very scary, man. That bear going through and mauling people. But yeah, yeah. I'm gonna see if they can try to focus some gold on someone here, onto one of their Ks. Expo is doing well in terms of farming and getting pressure, but he's just been ganked to all hell. He just really has been have to deal with a lot of people in his lane. So they're really doing a good job of making sure that the Vayne counter pick doesn't get too far ahead in the mid lane. I think that's the right play. Like if Vayne doesn't go insane here, then I think they're in a pretty good spot.
So as Maria's Dungeon, say you were in the comms of Maria's Dungeon, what are you doing to try to get Vayne ahead? It looks like what they're doing to try to put Vayne to the sideline. You think that's
I
the
think
right call?
I think that's exactly the call. Make it so Vayne can't just have the entire world collapsing on him every single play. So yeah, I think putting Vayne in there because Galio definitely can't
It's a
sideline.
condemn, prime condemn right there.
Oh.
There we go. Ultimate used by that Amumu. Expo is going to pick up the kill. Heads up play there from Spool Lady and Expo, as that is a big kill onto the Galio. Now Vayne's going to have a lot of alone time with this turret. The top Herald does go down in favor of the side of Team No Name. It's going over to John Yim. So we will have to see where they elect to put it. I'm a huge fan of putting it in the mid lane. I like opening up the map like that. Think there might be a better spot for it, though, even though both turrets on the top and bot side are missing?
No, I think mid lane is definitely the spot. So I think you want to crack open that mid lane, make it a little bit more pressure because I think you don't necessarily want to have you want to make it so they have to collapse, like protect the mid lane a bit more because right now they have like a lot of freedom to be in the side lanes here. And I was just about to say like going more on Vayne being in that side lane. I'm looking at the team at the champions here on the side of Team No Name. They don't really have anyone who's super comfortable in a 1v1 in the sideline with Vayne. Like even though Volibear's super ahead, Volibear doesn't love fighting Vayne, right?
Here we go.
Like no one here
Fear
likes
landed.
Vayne. Oh
Glory
my
and
god.
Death getting very low, getting knocked up, and that's going to be a big shutdown over to Fishing Frenzy. Meanwhile, in the mid lane, John Yim and company looking to put down this Rift Herald. Soul Lady forced to flash out. And it looks like this turret could potentially go down. There are no minions here, so Shelly's going to take a ton of damage. The turret is also not down yet. Shelly is going to go down. Here's the engagement from the Amumu. However, the hero's entrance coming in. Expo getting forced off. The Elo police zoning the rest of the squad off. There's a big minion wave here, and they do not have a lot of clear for this wave. So it looks like the mid turret is going to go over to Team No Name here as they keep themselves in the game right now. They, the reversal of fortune, they were up early. They're down about $1,000 right now in terms of gold, but they're doing whatever they can to keep themselves in it.
Yeah, I think that grand mostly come from that was a huge play on the top side, kind of punishing the Volibear for continuing to be super aggressive and pushing there.
Volibear is Zonias.
Oh, that is true. Volibear has Divine Sunder plus Zonia's up in the top lane. Okay,
That's pretty spicy.
That is some spice. They're cooking with spices.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Never mind. No shot. The Everfrost.
Everfrost, super important there. Otherwise, Galio was probably dead.
So let's make a case for this. It looks like your team doesn't have a whole lot of magic damage.
That's
so I think
true.
that might be the move. I think that could be a pretty good reason why. John Yim in hot pursuit of Expo right here. There is no bottom turret. Azrael waiting in the wings does have that Crow Storm up. The ward went over the walls. It looks like these teams are ready to fight over this dragon, and they do not have the vision for this Fiddlesticks. There's an engagement from the Amumu. Fiddlesticks is still waiting. That Mummy goes down. Amumu is going to be able to get in for free. And there's the Crow Storm. Glory and Death goes down. The second kill. Elo Police goes down. Fishing Frenzy caught in the Jarvan ultimate. But Azam.
Oh my god.
Line, and a 3v1.
Oh my god.
From the Wukong, double kill for the Vayne. TNN support getting run down. Expo trying to find this Lulo. Now John Yim going over the wall. John Yim in an area where there's no vision. There could be a potential steal attempt, but it looks like they will not even try. So Soul Lady trying to mess with them over at the chickens. Great engagement there from Maria's dungeon. And their prize, their first Ocean Dragon of the game, second dragon overall.
Ease of execution, baby. Look at that. Look at the Amumu ultimate just setting up everything else for the team. But it was a very good attempt for as a counter engage from TNN with the Volibear, with the J4, but wasn't quite able to lock Expo down, I think, and I believe it was the Volibear that went down at the beginning of that fight to Expo's damage. And now the Vayne, who was behind, Vayne was 1-4 just like a little bit ago. Now Vayne is 4-4. That's not what you want to see. Like, I'm gonna let you know, if you've been watching BT for a long time, you do not want to see Expo start popping off on Vayne. That's not at all what you want to see. He's gonna start feeling himself. We saw him feeling himself a little bit in that gank earlier, where he's trying to pull off that mechanical outplay. And if he starts feeling himself a little bit more, he's gonna start rolling. And like I said, they don't have a great team comp for fighting Vayne. If they can't lock down Vayne, like, they have these big beefy, the J4, the Volibear, the Galio. Vayne's just gonna eat through all of them. Gonna make them feel like they're not that tanky, although they're supposed to be pretty tanky, not to Vayne.
And never mind the fact that Azam is also now at 200 CS, 1-0-2, has their Collector, has their Kraken Slayer, and has the confidence to be able to take that killer instinct into the middle of three people. It's absolutely ridiculous that they knew right then and there, I'm going to be able to go in, and they do not have the damage to kill me. That is somebody that knows the boundaries of their champion, and that is a very scary player to play against.
Yeah, that was absolutely insane.
Oh, they found Azam, but they kill instinct out. Soul Lady getting stunned up. The polymorph is down as well, and there's going to be nothing that they can do for the team captain.
The sacrifice.
Yep, that's pretty unlucky. We do see Expo though in the bottom lane right here, and you remember, I don't know if you know this or not, those turrets are worth 600 gold if you're completely alone. Expo knows that they're in a lot of trouble. They're going to have to go after the Elo Police here, helping them with 3 auto attacks. They're going to try to find a way out, though. Here comes John Yim. There is no ultimate from this Jarvan. Expo's going to find one. Expo, please, don't tell me that you're going to do this. Here comes the ultimate from the Lulu. There's the polymorph as well. Does this Vayne have the damage? The exhaust went down as well.
They did so much. He spent so much of the time. Look at the Baron. He spent so much time
to try to kill the Vayne, but the Vayne was merely a bait, and they took it and the Baron to Maria's dungeon.
And he almost killed 2. He almost went in 2 before and almost killed 2.
Oh, Azrael. Oh
Oh,
no, Azrael is nowhere to go. Here comes Jarvan, the flag and drag over the wall. That Cataclysm is going to be up very soon, though. Fiddlesticks is going to pop the ultimate onto Johnny M. That's
oh!
really all that you can do. Here comes the Zonias, but the damage is just not there. And there goes
I
that
appreciate the balls
Fiddlesticks.
to go for that. I appreciate his call to go for that. You know what? I'm gonna die here, but if I'm gonna die, I'm gonna at least attempt to take someone down with me. I appreciate that.
Yeah, I like that attempt. There's really not too much you could do, especially with that
Right.
Cataclysm coming up very soon.
Very
I
true.
do think it's a little sketchy for Azam and Soulated to be up here. They don't have that Wukong. The teleport, sure, but now you've got no Fiddlesticks. You know your Vayne has gone to the mid lane. It's probably better off just to chill out. It looked like Team No Name decided they didn't want to have any more fighting. Nothing to do with this Baron up team of Maria's Dungeon.
Now let's see how
So
Marie Denton uses this Baron.
game going well for Aphelios, by the way. As I mentioned earlier, that Aphelios was just going to be able to sit back, relax, and have a pretty good time. They're down about 30 CS, but they're 3-1 right now.
That's true.
That is a fairly scary Aphelios.
That is very true. Yeah, the marksmen of this game, I think, are definitely gonna be a big game changer. We'll see pretty much how they are playing individually. I think is really gonna determine these team fights. As long as everyone else is kind of there to like do their role. Like no one else is really gonna do. I mean, the Volley Bears was doing ridiculous thing, but on these team fights, Volley Bears just kind of doing his role as being the engager, being that frontline tank. And we'll really see these. We're looking for these marksmen to come in through with the damage. And so far, I mean, just so far, it just looks like the marksmen on the side of Maria's Dungeon are doing that better. But the Aphelios is being quite quietly there, doing his job as well.
Wow, that is a huge loss. The bot lane turret was taken by the minions.
Oh wow.
And remember how I mentioned that's a 600 gold turret to anybody who's nearby. That's
Yeah.
just gone off the map. And sure, you're up just over 3,000 gold. That's 600 gold on any of these people who can push side lanes. This Wukong, this Vayne would have been absolutely massive. This dragon is coming up in about 25 seconds. I'm not quite sure if somebody is backing here or not. Fishing Frenzy
Oh
getting hit.
no, they stopped it
Started out by the Jarvan.
perfectly. I mean, the
Yeah.
top lane tower is going to go down, and you were speaking. How much gold is that?
Uh-oh.
600
That's 600,
to
baby.
the volley bear alone.
And they're not going to end. No, they do go to answer him. Fishing Frenzy will go to answer him. But here's the big problem: is that Azrael is here. They didn't spot it out. Jarvan is going to lock. He locked Fiddlesticks in with him. TNN support has to get out of there. Glory and Death is here. Fishing Frenzy has teleported in. And just like that, a member, the Jarvan, the big one with the smite, gets blown up immediately. Can Elo Police secure the dragon? Absolutely not. That's a third dragon of the game going over to Maria's Dungeon. And, I mean, I thought that was incredibly confusing. The Jarvan just ulting the Fiddlesticks and locking in TNN support.
Yeah.
They had to burn
Yeah,
flashes.
feels bad. Oh no, that's definitely a miscommunication or a misplay or something. Not what you want to see.
In Magic, that is what we call a non-bow. Instead of a combo, it's a non-bow.
It's a bit of the soft counter between Fiddlesticks and J4. That little interaction, like, oh, are you trapped in here? Am I trapped in here with you, or are you trapped in here with me?
And it's horrendous for this Aphelios right now. He's down a flash, which is really rough, especially when you have to deal with a Vayne. When you've got to deal with a Wukong, like you kind of want to keep as much distance as possible. And it looks like it's going to be very difficult for this Aphelios to do so within the next fight. And this next fight could potentially be game-ending as Maria's Dungeon. Look at the items that they have. They're beginning to finish everything. The Gwinsu's Rage Blade
Oh
out
yeah.
for the Vayne right now. This Fiddlesticks has been on 2 items for a little bit. Wukong's got a pretty nice 2-item spike going on with the Sterix and the Divine Sunder. This next fight, if this Vayne goes unabated, they are going to run the fight.
1000%. Yeah, finishing Rage Blade is absolutely massive here for the Vayne. The next fight is going to be incredibly scary. We already see how much damage those silver bolts were doing to those frontline tanks.
Oh my god, that poor Galio, remember from earlier.
Yeah.
Probably gonna do more damage. Hey,
Oh no.
it converts it. Does it do magic damage still, or is it just converted to on hit
Physical damage.
It's physical damage now?
Yeah,
Oh my
it's
God.
on hit physical damage. Yeah.
Poor Galio. He's
Yeah.
passive all game long, just gets counterpicked. Oh, Expo getting a little aggressive here.
Mhm.
John Yim is just chilling out. He's ready to fight. John Yim feels like they're always down for a fight. And listen, John Yim has that Sterix now, so there's a lot of, although this Jarvan doesn't look super tanky, there's a lot of a potential tankiness here. With the Gore Drinker, you're able to get down low and then heal it all back up if there's 4 people nearby. 28-minute mark. We are finally cresting to Maria's Dungeon up just 1 kill, but the gold is definitely in their favor. It's about a 3,500 gold lead. They're even on turrets, but Soul Point coming up for them in 2.5 minutes. Never mind, the Barons is also coming up in 40 seconds as well. I mean, it's kind of rough. I think at this point, Maria's Dungeon has to say, let's get the Baron control, and when the Dragon comes up, let's make them make the decision. Which one do they want to secure? Maria's Dungeon can also just force
Yeah.
a fight at any time with the team comp that they have right now.
Yeah.
That is also a thing that they can
But
do.
I think they're gonna be postulating around this Baron. And that's gonna, I mean, certainly that's gonna force some type of reaction here. Look at Aphelios doing Aphelios things. I think, he's just fun to watch.
Did you see that clip on the league subreddit the other day? It was never mind. Here we have an engagement. The Soul Lady is gonna be driven out, but you still have the second bandage toss. Looks like the team is finally ready to start to clear out some vision here. Expo trying to find the Elo Police. Elo Police is gonna have to justice punch away.
You gotta run away. You got to run away from Vayne. You cannot pick any type of fight. You cannot let him get that third hit off.
All right, so that Reddit clip that I was talking about.
Right.
So I think it was Kadril was watching EU solo queue because obviously it's World's Time coming around, and Aphelios had like 200 HP and got like one red white auto attack off on the chickens and healed to full. Mind you, this is after the champion has been nerfed quite a few times. I don't like Aphelios personally because I used to play AD carry. I still sometimes play AD carry, and that's a champion that I've just never learned how to play. I played him like 5 times, and I'm just like, you know what?
I'm getting his abilities after 5 times.
When I was 17 or 18, I could totally play this champion. I'm 26 now. There's absolutely zero chance I'm able to learn this champion in the slightest.
Yeah, definitely.
I'm a boomer. All right, I'm a league boomer here. Fishing Frenzy on the side. Fiddlesticks is going to be in a pretty good spot as well. Fishing Frenzy is just going for it. Knocks up 1, knocks up 2. Here comes Soul Lady and the Fiddlesticks. Ultimate Fiddlesticks flashing in. Here comes the Hero's entrance. It knocks up all 5. This could be a pretty big fight for the side of T No Name. So low is
where's Bane?
on the back lane. Solius is going to find a kill. So low is Azriel, but now they found Expo. Expo goes down and shut down. Azam, half health. Azriel went down. Soul Lady driven out. Azam trying to do what they can against Solius, but like we said, it's the Aphelios popping off right now. He got the Infinity Edge. He is dealing tons of damage. He picks up 2 kills in the fight, and just like that, Team No Name have the advantage.
And yeah, they did exactly what they needed to do. They're kind of playing it back and forth. The massive knockup that was able to really slow down the Vayne, and then Vayne walked too far forward. They were able to hold her down and beat her up, and you kill Vayne, and then it was just Azam left to get run down, and Aphelios in the back just kind of pew-pewing away, doing exactly what he needs to do for his team, and that's a massive team fight there for Team No Name that could definitely turn the game around, as well as they get both neutral objectives on the map, and now they are even in gold. 4 towers to 4 towers, 2 dragons to 3, 15 to 13. That just completely turned things around for them, 100%.
And really, the worst part for Maria's Dungeon is the fact that now their win condition of this Ocean Drake has been delayed by another 4 minutes and 30 seconds at this point. And that's why, it was such a rough fight. It looked like they were trying to force that fight to make something happen. But with that dragon coming up, they didn't necessarily need to. They could have set up around the dragon and forced Team No Name to come to them. But it really looked like, I give a lot of credit to Fishing Frenzy there. They saw an opportunity. They went for it. They knocked up the 2 frontline members. Not exactly what you were looking for. But Azrael had to use the ultimate and then flashed in to the Jarvan Cataclysm. And this time the Jarvan Cataclysm was awesome because there were no teammates caught in it. And then the Hero's Entrance from the Galio knocked up all 5. It was a done deal from there. And now Maria's Dungeon, they're kind of on the back foot here. Now, obviously, the Vayne's going to scale well, the Kai'Sa's going to scale well, but that Aphelios was so scary in that last fight. Like, I have to deal with him. He's an actual problem now.
That's very, very true. And 700 gold. Look at the gold that he has overall. Has more gold than Kai'Sa. Actually has more gold than both Kai'Sa and Vayne. Aphelios is very well farmed as well with the 5-1 and 2. The tons and tons of gold he got from that last team fight. And looking very good now. And yeah, you were talking about that red white combo and that healing, and yeah, the Felix looked absolutely ridiculous in that team fight. He just had the right guns ready for it, and he was healing like crazy.
There's a reason why the good old what's the word I'm looking, the motto is red and white don't fight. If you're playing against an Aphelios, you cannot fight when he's got red white guns. You just have to force waves, let him burn those guns. Those are the Aphelios' two strongest guns, and it will run over almost any fight.
Yeah, that's something that you really gotta think about. I guess I wouldn't even think about. I haven't been playing League of Legends enough in the past 2 years to really even think about that. But yeah, Jesus, definitely saw it there. The Aphelios absolutely popping off there in that fight.
And this is going to be a very big problem for Team Maria's Dungeon.
Mm.
33 minutes into the game, we are all knotted up at gold. No, never mind. It's about a 600 gold difference. I apologize. We're pretty close.
It's pretty close.
Uh,
Pretty close.
yeah, it's still pretty close, especially with this Baron as well. This is just such a tight game between two. I mean, taking a look at it, these are two very evenly matched teams from what we can see here. I give a lot of credit to Team No Name and Maria's Dungeon. You know, Team No Name, a completely new team. Maria's Dungeon, a revamped roster. The only two holdovers, Soul Lady, Maria, and Expo. Everybody else is pretty new, and maybe that's a big reason why there could be a little bit of miscommunication with their engagements. We will have to see if they are able to iron it out because we've gotten to the point in the game where these fights are devastating for the loser.
Yeah. These team fights have we got to the point again. Yeah, team fights are very, very important because whoever wins that team fight is likely going to get some major objectives, some major tower, or at this point they could just straight up win the game if those timers are long enough, and also depending on where in the map the fight takes place, if they don't have to walk too far. But yeah, for the most part, yeah, these team fights, and I think these team fights are kind of almost on individual execution. I feel like it's mostly team fight execution. Both of these teams, these fights can go either way. I think it's just really depending on how these teams are able to execute these fights. Like no one is like so far ahead of the
Do
other
it,
one.
Expo. There
Oh,
we go. Expo's
oh,
going for it. The Justice
oh
Punch
yeah.
to the side.
Oh, is not going to be enough.
On Yim and Zonia. Here
Oh,
support,
oh,
I should say. Expo
oh,
with the
oh my
cleanse. They're
goodness.
engaging
Oh my
onto
goodness.
TNN support. Down goes TNN support. That's a minute before the dragon is up. You cannot have that happen. The ELO police biting off a little bit more than they could chew, not aware of that pixel brush off to the side that a vein could have been lurking. And I was about to say that Maria's Dungeon did not have control of the Baron area, and they were going to try to go into the fight with no vision at all, but not anymore. They're able to just waltz right in, take back all the vision, create vision lines of their own, and now they're going to have the advantage for this dragon fight.
That's huge, and we saw that pretty much an individual play there for the most part. I mean, Marizas was able to rotate over, but well played there by Expo, able to outplay the Jarvan ultimate. I think he rolled out of it as it was casted, so he wasn't accident. Then he got a flash and got a good cleanse, and then the rotation over by Maria's Dungeon, and now this should be a free soul for them.
Might not
I
necessarily
mean,
be
may not
free.
be that free.
It
Yeah,
is
yeah.
a
I'm about to say,
5v,
it
it
may
is
not be
5v5,
that free.
but they
Everyone
chew
is
through
there.
it so quickly. John Yim, can you be here?
Oh my god!
It's stolen! Here comes the engagements! So much damage. Aphelios off to the side. Has the flamethrower and the graviton. Here comes. No, the ultimate got interrupted. The Fiddle ultimate is interrupted. Expo doing what they can, but they go down. Fishing Frenzy. Their Staircase Cage has been popped. Expo can't do anything. Fishing Frenzy goes down. It's a 4 for 0, and they lose the dragon.
I just cast the curse at them so
Team
much.
No Name comes up huge.
Oh my god! What a play by John Yim! And he stole it like mid-flight. He was like max range on that smite, and he stole
Ezreal
it. And
Smite
then
still up. That feels so
incredible-
bad.
Oh my
Ezreal
god!
Smite is still up.
Oh, that's
Their ultimate-
true.
Yep,
Didn't
the
even
close
see
one
it coming.
got interrupted, and just like that, they had the advantage. They lose the advantage. They lose the dragon. They lose the fight. They lose the game.
Just like we said, these fights can go either way, and one big fight like that can lead to the end of the game, and that's exactly what happened. What an incredible game here, back and forth. Let's see if we can look at the damage numbers here. I don't even know. Yeah.
Oh my god! What?
Yeah, Expo did some damage. Oh my goodness. Vayne did his
Wow.
goddamn hardest. Yeah, Expo put in the damage numbers, but it was not quite enough for the team fight capability there, especially that last team fight with the still good all around efforts. And the Volibear doing the most damage there on the side of Team No Name. But yeah, my God, that Vayne mid pumped out lots of damage. Very, very scary. Expo tried his best, but just that one team fight there kind of made it all fall apart. So
I
we,
love Team No Name's never say die attitude. They looked like they were on they it looked like this game could have potentially been over, but they realized, hey guys, you know what? Everything's all right. These guys we're gonna spawn before the dragon comes up, and they put it all on the shoulders of their jungler. They said, John Yim, you gotta make the play happen. John Yim goes in, gets the smite, gets the cataclysm, Elo police, following up the hero's entrance. It hits four. Azriel channeling that crow storm, interrupted by that taunt from Elo Police. Absolutely massive fight. They made the big plays happen when they needed to. The great that Team No Name showed was so sick. Like, you love to see a team that always knows that they got a shot. And this game was close enough. They didn't let it get to them. They didn't let their misplays get to them. They didn't let their missteps get to them. They didn't let those picks get to them. Elo Police had a really rough game, all things considered, against Expo. Didn't let it get to them. Made big plays when it mattered the most.
And that is what you need to do in order to win these competitive matches. Just fantastic teamwork all around there. Love to see it. And we will be back whenever we have everything set up. We're gonna get these teams into lobbies, get ready for our draft, and we should have a very exciting game too. I'm definitely looking forward to see what these two teams bring after such a close and intense game one.